Welcome to the channel that is about all things career development. So that is bursaries, learnerships, graduate programs, as well as growing your career all the way to the C-suite. If that is you, hit the subscribe button. I look forward to getting to know you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nokuthula Kongo. Today I want to quickly talk to all of us some of us who are currently actively looking for a job right now. And because of the pandemic, video interviews have become the new reality. And and the truth is, it can be quite awkward. It's not like it's you chatting to your friend, but it is you chatting with a potential employer. They want to know, are you the candidate? You also want to determine, is this an employer I can work for, and all of that. So firstly, a lot of the normal interview rules still apply. Do prepare. And in preparing, another thing I've noted, most candidates plan for interviews. I have also been guilty of this quite a lot, even up until recently. A lot of us sometimes take interview as an exam. You study for an exam, then you go to the exam and you write, and it's about what you can recall from your memory, and to some degree you regurgitate that and you apply it, etc. And we apply the same strategy when going to the interview. And it recently dawned on me that the interviewer, I've been on both sides in terms of my career, allows me that the interviewer has prepared. They have looked at multiple candidate CVs. They have not memorized all the CVs in their head, but also they've planned certain questions. So why don't you also, in a normal interview, you would go in there with your portfolio of evidence, as well as also go in there with interview questions that you have for your interviewer, as well as some career stories that you've planned, having looked at the job spec that you would like to share with the interviewer should certain questions arise that will require those answers. So I want to encourage all of us, as we go into the video interviews, do go in there with your notes. It's not a cheat sheet. It is your plan. It is your preparation. And you obviously, please do disclose it up front. Don't have a where I come from, it's called imbuzi or a goat. Okay, sorry. But do go in there with your notes planned and prepared. And when the interviewer asks, you are then able to even say, answer your question, as well as if you have specific extracts or example from your portfolio of evidence, then ask, can I project this and talk to this, so the interviewer sees also an extract of your work. So isn't that brilliant? One, it helps to reduce the nerves, because I've been in exams where, for whatever reason, I panicked and the answers just evaporated from my head. And when I exited the exam, like osmosis, they just came back, left wherever they were, came back to the area of low concentration, which was my mind. And suddenly I remember what I should have written in the exam. So please let us set ourselves up for interviews by going in there with our portfolio of evidence, talking to it, because they've given you the job spec, which is the scope. So you plan according to that scope. And then when they ask you questions, you then are able to present that. One of those things that will absolutely set you apart. Then coming to the more technical, housekeeping things to consider when preparing for your video interview. I learned this from another YouTuber who I follow. She's in the same space as myself. I'll put her link down below. She shared about that, rather than, and I've been guilty of this. So, try and maybe use books, or if you have a laptop stand, mount it a little bit so that the interviewer and you are at eye level. And the reason, and also she explained that there's obviously a psychology behind that, so that you are not looking down at your interviewer, but you are looking at them. And furthermore, this I've also learned through my videos that I do for this channel, is that look into the eye of the camera and not look and not look into the screen or look at the person. Because then if you look into the eye of the camera, then the person feels like you are looking at them. They receive direct contact. It does seem a little strange to here's the person here, or the person would be here, but to almost talk just a little bit above what you see. But that will also ensure that you have great eye contact with your interviewer. And obviously, please do practice well in advance, either with a friend or anybody else, to just test how, even your presentation comes, where you cleverly slip in that question that, can I share some of my results on that? And then so you just do want to share that, especially if you find yourself in a situation where it's a panel interview, just to really figure it out. And also on this channel, even as I do these videos, I always have a water bottle not too far from me, because sometimes I would either choke or just my throat gets dry. So do have a water bottle, outside the view of the camera, but outside the picture. But should you require to drink, then you are able to do that. And the reason you don't want a glass, because if you talk like with your hands like myself, you could hit the glass and it could go into the electricals, or just either way, and then it just would obviously throw you off into an absolute, depending how you handle stress. But you don't want that happening, so do use a glass. First prize also, then when we talk lighting, try and use natural light. Natural light is absolutely first prize. But if you're not able to have natural light, you can try and get a ring light. If you don't, try taking 2 lampstands and have them on either side of the screen. So that way you have natural light, not natural, but that way you have light flooding to you or towards your face, so that they can see you properly and you just look better on the video. And instead of not the room light, where you then have light coming from the top or coming from one side, looking a little creepy, scary movie like. So have light coming directly at you with your 2 side lamps. And yes, do a dry run with a friend. I think I mentioned that. Make sure all your devices are on silent or do not disturb. If you're working from home and there's a lot of people, if they can, just for that time, please do ask them to, at the very minimum, not be streaming any videos. You don't want any quality issues. If possible, can they just use their data? And also do then have a backup. Should your PC for whatever reason decide it is not coming to the party at any time during the interview, you are able then to continue the conversation over in your phone, and it also just makes you look that much more organized. Also, as with video, I don't always get this right, but it really is about psyching yourself up with video. Whilst it does make one look a bit chubbier than they are, and if they already are chubby because of the pandemic, but video does add a little bit more pounds on a person, but it actually takes away it dials down the personality a little bit. So please do show up as your best self on having had 2 or 3 cups of coffee, whether you drink coffee or not. So your normal self, dial it up a little bit so that you don't seem bland and because then, yes, how are they going to remember you? So you really want to be a standout, memorable candidate. You want to come across as prepared. I'm just quickly checking on my notes. I think I have covered everything. I think another thing I put there is that if you obviously you're not able to mount your laptop, you use books, you can always then try maybe lowering your chair. But either way, you just want to have that eye contact, so it is at eye level. And yes, so please do let me know if you have any other tips that could benefit this community on how to ensure that we ace those video interviews. I really look forward to hearing from you and reading your comments. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing. I will see you next video. Goodbye.